Okay, great. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Love My Flow Masterclass. Okay, welcome to Love My Flow. So this is the little structure for today. We're just going to go through a bit of personal background on me, and then we'll get into the masterclass. And then at the end, I have a few special offers for you guys, which is really exciting. So, a little background on me, my story, and how I healed my womb and my relationship to my period. So, at the age of 15, I was put on the pill for bad skin, as we so often hear doctors do. And when in reality, I was dealing with incredibly bad PMS, a period of 2 weeks where I was suicidal. My PMS was so bad. I was grumpy. I was angry. I had very, very bad anger issues. And I actually was getting 20% lower grades during those 2 week periods. And so my doctor thought that the only best way to help me regulate my cycle and regulate my emotions was to put me on the pill. And I use inverted commas because that's not actually what the pill does. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So I was on the pill for 7 years from the ages of 15 to 22. I, over a few years, became really depressed. I was anxious, I was manic, and I was completely disassociated from my body. I also struggled to emotionally integrate emotional experiences and lessons that were coming up for me within relationships. So then I thought everything was fine. I was a healthy girl. I was doing sports. Besides feeling a little bit fatigued at times, I was relatively healthy. And so I thought. Up until the age of 22 in 2019, I went to the gynae for a regular kind of checkup, and she said, "Uh-oh, you have a cyst. Please come back for a second opinion." And so I was a little bit worried, but like not too worried because the gynae didn't really seem to be worried. And so I went back 2 weeks later, and the gynae says to me, "Oh no, this is quite a serious kind of cyst. We have to operate immediately." And that was quite scary for me because I'd never been to hospital before. I'd never had an operation. So 1 month later, I was booked in for surgery. And this was a very, very invasive and traumatic experience for me. After the operation, I woke up and I tried to get up and run away. And like, I was so confused by the anesthetic and all the medication that they were giving me. I then later on realized a few months later into my healing that the pill had been the cause of the cyst. For 8 months after this operation, I was depressed, I was anxious, and I was completely disconnected from myself. All of the childhood trauma I had been ignoring for many, many years was surfacing and coming to the surface to be healed and confronted and integrated. This was a very, very, very dark time for me. And during this time, I was also going through a spiritual awakening, as a few months before the operation, I had done a 5-gram mushroom journey. So all of this was kind of happening, I now believe, for a deeper reason. And so then in January 2020, I was finally emotionally stable enough to come off the pill. But my mom said, "No, you cannot not be on any contraception," using that fear mongering to put on to control me, right? So I then I went onto the copper IUD, and in March 2020 I started my Red 10 facilitated training. And this was a deep dive into everything that it means to have a womb and to hold space for women who have gone through traumatic experiences, just like I had, with their wombs, whether it be abortion, miscarriage, rape, cysts, operations, endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, you name it. All of these create a disconnection between us and our sacred womb space. And so this Red 10 facilitator training was a deep dive into your own personal healing journey, because you cannot facilitate safe spaces and healing spaces for people if you yourself have not gone through your own deep healing process, right? And so then 1 month later, I was able to get my natural period back. And I later learned that you can only get your period, you can only get pregnant 6 days out of your entire cycle. 6 days, which is absolutely nothing. And so when I learned that, I realized I had to get my IUD out because it was giving me pain during sex. And so I realized that the reason I got my period back and the reason that I was feeling so much pain from this IUD was because my ability to be connected to my womb, my ability to be connected to my feminine energy, which is the foundation for our entire cycle. And so that is what healed me, and that is what returned sensitivity and awareness to the space that we really don't bring a lot of awareness to. You know, we are so living so much in our heads that we actually completely, most of the day, ignore the lower part of our body. And so then in February 2022, I got my IUD removed. And in April last year, 2022, I completed my FAM course, my Fertility Awareness Method course, which is a natural contraception-based method. And I have been successfully practicing it ever since without getting pregnant. And so my womb healing journey has been developing since March 2020 for the last 3 years, and deepening and deepening and deepening. And I've been able to completely heal my own experience of PMS, of cramps, of bad irregular cycles, any period ailments, you name it. I've been able to heal them through the natural processes of my body and through embodiment and through going deep into my feminine energy and working with my feminine energy on a physically embodied level. So if you would like to learn more about me, you can listen to episode 1 of the Sync and Flow podcast titled My Story, and I go much more in depth into my story in that episode. So before we move forward, let's drop into our wombs. So I would like to invite you to close your eyes, get comfortable, and start to take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Really allowing yourself to make some audible exhales in through the nose and out through the mouth. Once more, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just continuing that on your own, allowing every exhale to drop you deeper and deeper into your body. And so now I invite you to place your hands on your chest, the center of your chest, on top of your heart chakra. And I invite you to start to breathe deeply into your hands, into the space behind your hands, into your heart center. And with every breath, breathing deeper and deeper into your heart, connecting to this part of your body. And I now want you to bring to mind a memory This memory can be anything, whether it's a person, a place, an animal, an experience, anything that brings you joy, that brings you love, that brings you bliss, that makes you feel connected to yourself. And with every breath, I want you to breathe deeper and deeper and deeper into this memory until you start to feel those warm and fuzzy feelings coming up. I want you to feel as if you can see your memory, vision it, taste it, feel it, hear it, touch it, sense the texture, and feel this memory as it elicits this sense of unconditional love within you. Breathing deeply into the center of your chest, breathing deeply into these warm and fuzzy feelings that are starting to arise. And now taking your right hand and placing it onto your womb space, just below your belly button, just above your pubic bone. And breathing from your top hand to your bottom hand, breathing all this love and joy that we've now cultivated in the heart space into your womb space, from your top to your bottom hand, and cycling your breath between the heart and the womb. Remembering to breathe deeply as you connect these two divine feminine portals within the body that may have never been connected to before, and that's okay. But can you make space for this connection right now? Can you be embodied in this connection right now? Sending all this unconditional love you've cultivated into your womb. And now bringing your top hand to meet your bottom hand, I want you to focus deeply the next 5 breaths on deeply connecting with your womb space. Maybe you want to drop your head a little bit as your consciousness starts to drop out of the mind and deeper into the body. Remembering to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Making some sighs. If that feels good. Just noticing anything that is coming up. What is present in your womb space? Any textures, any colors, hot, cold, light, dark. What is there for you? What is within your womb space? Can you just observe without judging? And when you're done, you can bring your hands back to your heart and breathe gently into your heart, just acknowledging this connection that you've just made. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. Now that we are all gracefully dropped into our womb space, I would like to proceed and continue. I've just lit a candle and some Palo Santo. I invite you to do the same. Make your space a bit sacred. And bring any crystals that you would like into your space. Maybe some incense. Okay, let us continue. Are you seeing the screen, loves? Just send a yes. Okay, thank you, Danielle. Thank you. Cool. So I would now like to ask you the question, what is your relationship to your bleed, to your menstruation, to your period? And I don't want you to attempt to answer that question now. I just want you to have this question at the back of your mind while we go through the slides and through this class, this workshop. So I was just wondering, so these are some nicknames for menstruation, because I was wondering, like, okay, bleed, period, menstruation, and what are the other ones? And I thought this was quite a cute way to start. So we have On Flow, the Crimson Wave, Shark Week, On the Rag, Code Red, the Monthly Visitor, Lady Time, the Curse. I don't think I like that one too much. Time of the Month, Red Wedding, Moon Time, that one's quite nice. Bloody Mary, that's quite funny. Shark Tank, Carrie at the Prom, no idea what that means or what that refers to. Maybe that's a Sex and the City reference, who knows. Strawberry Week, Japanese Flag Day, and the Red Badge of Courage. So half of these I hadn't even heard of. Actually, most of them I hadn't even heard of. And these are just some funny ways in which we avoid using the terms menstruation and period. I would like to start with this beautiful poem by Nikki Tajiri. Your period is the ocean tide, that smooths the sand and rises with the moon. It is the heavy rain that swells the rivers and washes away debris. It is a glacial waterfall that freezes in the winter and flows in the summer. Your period is a microcosm of the earth herself. You have a whole world inside of you. So, why do we need to have natural cycles and periods? Because we have been told a lie that women don't need a period, that you can function without a period. Hence why so many girls are on birth control, which suppresses ovulation and suppresses the period. So one of the reasons is that having a cycle, having a period, is the only way our body can produce naturally estrogen and progesterone, which have tons of natural positive benefits for the body, which we will get into in a few slides. The period also helps you age slower because the loss of iron during your period, and that is related to iron actually helping to form free radicals, which are precancerous cells or degraded cells. Having a cycle and a period makes sex deeper, better, and more fun because you're more connected to your body, you are more sensitive, okay? And your period is actually the fifth vital sign. I don't know how many of you knew that. And so, because it is the fifth vital sign, it is like your monthly health report card and gives you so many indications and information about your health and what is going on with your hormones and with your nutrient and mineral levels and all these different processes within the body. Having a natural cycle also means that you're activated in your womb space and therefore in connection to your feminine energy. And the world desperately needs more women to be embodied and empowered in their feminine energy for obvious reasons. And another positive benefit is that your intuition is so sharp when you're on birth control, your intuition is next to nothing. And so when you're bleeding and having natural cycles, your intuition is sharp and true and has the ability to guide you. So here we go, some benefits of estrogen and progesterone that naturally occur within the body. So some benefits of estrogen are that it protects your heart, it protects your brain, it improves muscle mass and bone density, it boosts your mood, and it improves your sex, as well as supporting libido and orgasm. And some benefits of progesterone is that it relieves PMS. Often when we have very bad PMS, it is a sign of low progesterone. It improves your mood. Progesterone is an anti-anxiety hormone, and so it actually helps to calm and ground the nervous system. It promotes good deep sleep, sound sleep. It promotes bone health as well, and it is essential for fertility and the maintaining of a healthy pregnancy. And as well, it is a cancer prevention. Okay, these are all such important benefits that we can get from having natural estrogen and natural progesterone flowing throughout our brain and body. Because unfortunately, when we take birth control, we do not get any of these benefits because we have our estrogen and our progesterone production suppressed. And here we go a little bit more onto the fifth vital sign. So what does this mean, really? It means that your period can tell you about the state of your health through the color and texture of your blood, through the regularity or the irregularity. Is your period painful or pain-free? Do you spot or do you have a free flow? Is your period light or is it heavy? Is it long or is it short? These are just some of the ways that we can actually get a lot of information from our period, and different indicators will have different meanings as shown in this little graphic over here. Okay, and so really when we are connected to our period, we will know immediately when something is not right within our system. Why? Because our period will tell us so. Okay. So how does hormonal contraception fuck you up? Okay. Artificial hormones are toxic. Okay. Like I said in the previous slide, when we are on birth control, we do not have natural estrogen or natural progesterone flowing through our bodies. We have synthetic compounds or synthetic versions of these hormones flowing through us. And how does hormonal birth control work? It works by suppressing ovulation and your natural cycle, okay? And therefore, all the amazing benefits of progesterone and estrogen that I mentioned previously. Hormonal contraception can lead to depression, it can lead to anxiety, and the inability to emotionally process life, and can leave you disassociated from your body. It also actually depletes your body's ability to handle stress, and so has a very, very negative impact on your nervous system, and actually decreases your capacity to deal with stress. You also don't produce pheromones, and therefore you cannot correctly judge suitable mates or partners. So when you are on birth control, you may actually be dating someone that may not, on a biological level, be compatible for you. And I encourage you to go watch Sarah E. Hill's TED Talk. She wrote Your Brain on Birth Control, and did a lot of studies between the brains of women on birth control versus not on birth control. And she actually proved that women who are on birth control choose men that have facial biomarkers indicative of low testosterone, okay? Because when you're cycling naturally, you have high levels of estrogen, and your body will make sure to choose a mate that has a corresponding level of testosterone to estrogen. And that is just a survival of the fittest, survival of the species kind of mechanism, okay? The pill also, or hormonal birth control in general, suppresses your libido big time, like big time, because you don't get to have this beautiful wave of hormones fluctuating. You're just constant, this linear cycle. Okay. And then this last one actually blew my mind when I heard this. The pill shrinks your clitoris. Ah, who wants that? Who the fuck wants a shrunken clitoris, okay? That is just fucking crazy and fucking scary. I don't know about you, but that just, yeah, it does not sit well with me. So not only is it suppressing your libido, but it is suppressing and shrinking your clitoris. No. Okay, if there was only one reason to get off hormonal contraception, I think it would be that one. Okay, if you would like to learn more, watch the documentary The Business of Birth Control, which came out last year and has frequent free viewings. So just Google The Business of Birth Control. It is a highly informative documentary that I believe every single person should watch. So menstruation is the only blood not born from violence, yet it's the one that disgusts you the most. And this quote comes from Maya Schwartz. I want you to just, feel how that quote makes you feel. What does that bring up within you? Okay. We live in a world where there is so much war, so much violence, so much, just death and murder and all these things, these violent, traumatic things, and because of mainstream media and TV, we've become desensitized to death in this way. But yet we are stigmatized and brainwashed to be disgusted by this beautiful blood that comes from our own body. But yet it is the only blood not from violence. Since we have been little girls, we have received the message that our blood is dirty, shameful, and taboo. Whether we received this conditioning from parents, teachers, friends, or family, or simply absorbed it from the societal culture around us, all women hold some form of shame or rejection, either conscious or subconscious, towards their menstrual cycles. And that is just so sad. We have internalized these messages, and they will impact how we view and experience menstruation during our bleeding years. We simply were never provided the correct education, tools, and frameworks from which to learn and understand our bodies intimately. And really, this internalized misogyny, this internalized hatred towards our periods it deeply, deeply impacts our experience of our own period, okay? Because the period is so linked to our feminine energy. The period is such a psychosomatic process, meaning that it is influenced, the body is influenced by the mind, and the mind is influenced by the body, psychosomatic. So we need to change the narrative because our periods are a blessing. They are not a curse. Growing up in a patriarchal society means that we all have deeply internalized misogyny living in our mind and in our body. But how do we change this? This internalized misogyny is causing women's period problems. That psychosomatic link is very real and very, very important. Because the cycle, your period, is the quintessential aspect of being a woman. And if you are either consciously or subconsciously disconnected from your cycle and from your feminine energy and from your womb, then your period is obviously going to suffer. Okay, you will obviously have difficult, challenging experiences during your menstruation. And so how do we change this narrative? We need to start seeing our periods as a blessing, not a curse, okay? They are a biological blessing because they are a sign of healthy reproductive system and balanced hormones. They are a sign that we are not pregnant. How else would we know that we are not pregnant if it wasn't for our red river once a month reminding us that we are not? They are a spiritual blessing. We have heightened intuition and heightened spiritual psychic gifts when we bleed, which allows us to access deep inner wisdom and creativity if we call on our deep intuition and deep creativity that is stored in our sacral chakra, which is the second chakra and is linked to the womb space. And generally, periods are a blessing and a reminder of our unique and innate power as women to create life, okay? This is the number one power that we have as women. The number one thing that differentiates us from men is the fact that we can get pregnant, the fact that we can bring life onto this planet from the spirit realm into the physical realm through the portal that is our womb space. Okay, this is such a unique and special gift that we have as women, and we need to start treating ourselves and our wombs with this blessing, with this reminder in mind. We need to remember how powerful we actually are because we can bring life onto this planet. I can imagine a world where periods are loved, where we eagerly anticipate the ideas and inspiration gathered from them, where we expect the break like a weekend retreat or an annual vacation, where we talk about them with affection and warmth, where we set up our world to accommodate and support them. I can imagine a world where it feels so good to bleed. These words, they bring such medicine to my soul. Just deeply relax into the vision of a world where it feels so good to bleed. This is another beautiful poem by Nikki Tajiri. So cyclical living, why do we need to learn it? because our current world, our current system wasn't designed for us, wasn't designed for the woman's body. And as you can see in this graphic, this is the comparison of the male hormonal levels over 1 month in comparison to the female hormonal levels over 1 month. And as you can see, the female hormonal levels are this beautiful wave and fall and rise as we continue our journey over the month. Whereas the male hormones, they rise in the morning, testosterone rises in the morning with the sun and dips in the evening with the sunset. And so our system, our 9 to 5 work day, work week was designed with the male body in mind. And so cyclical living is how we take our power back. Cyclical living reminds us that we are nature embodied, because we have within our body the 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, autumn. We have 4 phases: menstruation, follicular, ovulation, luteal. We have 4 archetypes: crone, maiden, mother, wild woman. And we have 4 different varying energy levels: low, increasing, high, decreasing. We literally have the phases of the moon cycling within our body. We have the phases of the seasons cycling within our body. Women are an expression of the earth, and we can see that through the understanding of the menstrual cycle. It is so sacred to have a cycle. It is so sacred to be a woman. And our cycle reminds us of that we are so intimately connected to the earth below us and the cosmos above us. Okay? To be a woman is to be spiritual. You don't have to do anything as a woman to be spiritual other than have a natural, healthy cycle, other than celebrate your cycle, other than allow yourself to bleed freely without shame. And so we can see here this beautiful graphic that I have created, that if you would like one for yourself, you can purchase a digital poster PDF of this exact poster via the Sync and Flow website shop. And so as you can see, we have our cycle that is divided into 4 quarters. We have menstruation, which is winter, which is our lowest energy. We really, during this time, we need to go inwards, we need to reflect, we need to go internal and really double up on our self-care. We then move on to spring, or the follicular phase, where we are slowly increasing in energy. Our hormones slowly start to rise. And this is all about creativity, planning, getting organized, goal setting, and starting to prepare yourself for the upcoming cycle. Then we move on to ovulation, or summer. And this is when our energy is at its peak. Our hormones are peaking. We feel horny. We're sociable. We want to go out. It is the best time for communicating, teamwork, and just really living our best externally focused life. Okay. And as you can see in this diagram, the spring and summer are really our masculine half of the cycle. This is when we are outwardly focusing, manifesting, doing, speeding up, creating, okay, forming new ideas and really putting them out into the world. After ovulation, we then move to the luteal phase, and this is our autumn. And this is when our hormones start to decrease. Well, estrogen drops and progesterone is so in ovulation, estrogen is the main hormone of follicular and ovulation. And then in luteal is all about progesterone, so that calming anti-anxiety hormone that I spoke about earlier. This is what it's all about in luteal, the autumn, the going inwards, slowing down, starting to focus more on mindfulness. This is when we can become quite introverted. And also this is when PMS will start to rise if we struggle with PMS. And so that's why during this time, we need to take extra good care of ourselves because of things like PMS. And then we start to bleed and the new cycle starts again, okay? And so this menstruation and luteal are the feminine half of our cycle. And this is the inwards time, the reflecting, slowing down, dissolving our identity, really just going internally and focusing our energy on ourselves and forgetting about the rest of the world. And so as you can see in this beautiful little diagram that I forgot to finish, this is a lovely little way of just seeing all the different ways. So in menstruation, like I said, we need to be focusing on self-care, resting, sleeping, meditating, journaling, introspection. We need to be eating warm, grounding, high-fat foods. We need to be exercising little to no exercise, a little bit of yin yoga, stretching, gentle, slow walks, but it's really the best time to do nothing. And then the potential vulnerabilities are feeling emotional, low energy, moody, grumpy, depressive tendencies. In our follicular, we have our lifestyle focus on creativity, learning new things, planning, organizing. In our diet, we should be eating energizing and light, mainly plant-based, fruit, nuts, veg, white meat. The exercise should be vinyasa yoga, hiking, dancing, jogging. And the potential vulnerabilities is feeling a little bit overwhelmed because now you're having to plan all these things, right? Ovulation, we should be focusing on communication, productivity, socializing, teamwork, high energy tasks. During this time, we should be eating high calorie dense food, raw, high fiber, extra greens, fruits, nuts, veg. And this is when we do the cardio, hits, high intensity workouts. And the potential vulnerability during this time is actually being a people pleaser because you're so energized that you just want to say yes to everyone and everything. But that also may overwhelm you. And so the trick is, and I've done this so many times, I will be in my ovulation phase and I'm feeling so sociable and I just want to go out and see everyone and do all the things. And then I will actually start to plan social events for the next week. And then the next week comes and I'm in my luteal and I'm like, oh, fuck, why did I say yes to all of those things? And it was because I was in my ovulation. And so really having this cyclical awareness allows us to plan ahead. Okay, and not say yes to all the things and then in luteal regret it. So then in luteal we should be slowing down, self-reflection, mindfulness practices, extra self-care, eating warm, grounding, baked and roasted food, high fat, high calorie, eating red meat, root veg, and all of that is to help your body prepare for the experience that is your period, which takes a lot of energy and can drain your body of a lot of iron. So really it's good to boost your iron stores, boost your mineral stores during your luteal phase in preparation for your menstruation so that you don't feel so depleted and tired and lethargic when you bleed. And then exercises, light workouts, Pilates, yoga, deep stretching, weights, and long walks. And this is the best time for strength training, actually. And the potential vulnerabilities of the luteal phase are PMS and feeling a bit moody, grumpy, a bit depressed. This is all totally normal. But like I said earlier, if your hormones are in balance and your progesterone is at the levels that it should be, you won't actually experience such severe PMS. And therefore, you won't experience the depressive tendencies. I would like us to take a quick break, maybe just a 5-minute break, 2-minute break. I think that's been a lot of information. So yeah, let's just take a moment to let all of that go. Grab some water. Maybe you want to stand up, just stretch the legs. Yeah, we've been going for about 45 minutes. And before we get on to the next section, I just want to get back in my body because it's a lot, I know, but it's really exciting and it's really vital information that we weren't given as young women growing up. This is the information that we should have been taught in high school. Like, what the fuck was life orientation for? I'm not going to become a drug addict. No, thank you. I want to learn about my body, like this is what we were missing growing up, unfortunately, in a patriarchal society. And it just shows our education system is not prioritized around embodiment. It's not prioritized around self-connection. It's not prioritized around helping women to understand themselves, because let's be real, being a woman is 10 times more complex than being a man, and we live in a man's world, and that means that it is 10 times harder for us as women to be ourselves and to be in connection to ourselves, because being a powerful woman in today's society takes work, takes effort. It takes going to things like therapy and investing in yourself, doing courses, coming to workshops like this, and engaging with material and educational learnings like this that are not mainstream. Okay, so I really celebrate you for being here. How's everyone doing? Yay. You said you had none on the pill, Danielle. What was that referring to? No orgasms. No libido. Yes, babe. Oh my God. Yeah, me too. No, yeah, me too. I mean, it was good in the beginning, but no, me too. No libido. Yeah, the sex is so much better. And like when you realize that, you're like, fuck, man, I will never go back on any hormonal contraception because it just suppresses your natural sexual sensual essence as a woman, and that is your fucking power. Someone said to me, or I heard on a podcast, I think, that anything that the patriarchy says is taboo, that there is power there, right? Anything that the patriarchy says is taboo or shameful or shouldn't be talked about, that there is power there, because the patriarchy doesn't want women to be empowered. Sex and your period, two things that the patriarchy has shamed and divine femininity, exactly. These are the things that the patriarchy shames and makes taboo and keeps a secret from us women, because the patriarchy knows that if women were connected to their divine femininity, if women were connected to their period and connected to their sexual essence, then we would become so much more empowered in who we are, and we would never allow any of this bullshit that is happening in society to take place. Okay, because a woman empowered in her sex and in her blood stands the fuck up for herself, for her sisters, and for injustice. Oh, let's get back to the slideshow. Okay. So, like I said, women have the power to bleed but not die. That is fucking powerful. That is rare. What? There is no, like I said earlier, there's no blood that isn't born from violence and death except that of a woman's menstruation. The spiritual connection that we have to ourselves through our menstruation is so deep. We are deeply connected to the cyclical aspects of the earth below us and the cosmos above us through the seasons, through the tides of the ocean, the waters, and the moon phases, which controls the ocean. And so we as women are deeply connected to the waters. We can divine waters, we can control waters. Women are the bridge between spirit and matter. Like I said earlier, the womb is a portal that can bring spirit beings from the spirit world and bring them onto earth as humans. And only a woman has that power from the spirit world into the physical world. We are empowered in our cyclical multidimensionality. This means that we are a different woman every single day of our cycle. And that is something to take power from. You know, like I almost feel sorry for men. They have it so, like, they're so boring. You know, like they just are the same every single day of the month, you know, like same hormones, same levels, same being. But us as women, we have so many different flavors and aspects and, you know, parts of ourselves that can come out to play at all these different phases of our cycles. And that's fun, you know, it's sexy to be a woman. We can be whoever the fuck we want, you know. Sometimes we want to be the good girl, sometimes we want to be the bad bitch, sometimes we want to be, you know, not giving a fuck. Sometimes we want to be spiritual. Sometimes we want to be materialistic. Whatever, you know, multidimensionality means to you, you can be whoever the fuck you want and take up space in that. Because being a woman, you know, I saw this thing that like we all have this fear of being too much as women, right? But actually being a woman is too much, and we need to celebrate that abundance of energy and variety and flavors and you know, sexual experiences, you know, because we can be all these different archetypes and so much more and have fun with that, because we are a different woman every single day of our cycle, and that is a fucking blessing. Our intuition and our spiritual sensitivity is the strongest when we bleed. And this means that we can receive messages and creative insights from source, from the universe, because when we bleed, we are open from our crown chakra to our root chakra. We have this divine channel that is completely open. And so we can receive messages from source above us, allow that to flow through our body and integrate. And we can be connected to the earth below us through our blood, through that downwards energy, which in Ayurveda is called the apana flow. Okay, that downwards flow of energy, apana flow. And because of that downwards flow, during our period, we can release not only the blood, but we can have a deeply emotional and energetic and spiritual release of everything that doesn't serve us. And so to have a period is to live ritualistically, right? We can really create such beautiful rituals for ourselves, you know, writing down everything we want to release and working with our blood in that way. There are such beautiful, beautiful rituals that we can do with our blood through collecting our blood in a menstrual cup, or by soaking our pads in water. We can become really witchy, right? Our period allows us to be like really witchy and ritualistic, and like this woman in the image, really connected to so much more that is greater than just who we are, right? So also bleeding at different times of the month can have a spiritual significance. So which cycle are you synced with, right? The white cycle, and this is when you bleed on the new moon and ovulate on the full moon. This is a cycle of internal focus, and you are in service to yourself. You are connected to the fertility of the earth, and you are ready to birth new creative projects. Then we have the red cycle, and this is an externally focused cycle, and you are in service to others. You are creating projects, you are birthing, you are, servicing like the collective. And this is when you bleed on the full moon and ovulate on the new moon. And this means that you are probably a healer, a high priestess, or a shaman. Then we have the pink cycle. And this means that you're going through a life transition. And this means that you bleed on the waxing moon. So when the moon is getting bigger, and you're ovulating on the waning moon when the moon is getting smaller. And this means that you are ready for transformation and growth, and you're going through a transitionary period in your life. And then we have the purple cycle, which also indicates a life transition. And this is when you're bleeding on a waning moon and ovulating on the waxing moon, and your life is becoming more peaceful and quieter. So the pink and purple cycles are really the in-between the moons, and those indicate you're going through a big transition in your life, or you're working towards something. And then the white and red moon means that you are white and red cycles mean that you're bleeding specifically on, it's around like 2 days within either the full moon or new moon. Okay. So pop in the chat which cycle you are. I would love to know. Currently, I am bleeding on the waning moon. I'm actually on day 4 right now. Also, if you know, let's have a cycle check-in. If you know what day you're on, pop it in the chat. I would love to know, as well as your moon cycle. So I'm currently on day 4. I am still actually bleeding a little bit today, and I am on the purple cycle because we have actually the new moon and a solar eclipse tomorrow. So that means that I'm bleeding on the waning moon, but very, very close to the new moon. So almost on a white cycle. The womb has been worshipped throughout all of Earth's, her story, and I say her story instead of history, because history has the word his in it, and that means that history has mainly predominantly been told from the perspective of the white male, right? And so her story is how we reclaim the stories of the indigenous and of the woman. The womb has been worshipped throughout all of Earth's, her story, by people who had realized how powerful and magical this portal between worlds is. The womb is a doorway between the world of matter and the world of spirit. Through the womb, a non-manifested soul is brought to the manifested realms. Women have been chosen by God, by the Creator, to be the portal between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. Women are the only force on earth powerful enough to navigate unborn spirits into this planet. Okay, and that is fucking powerful. Even if you don't want to have a baby, the potential for life is always within you, and you can tap into that potential and draw strength and power and creative energy from that potential for life, and use that to nourish your creative projects and creative pursuits. So how can we take good care of ourselves on our period? We need to remember that menstruation is a very physically demanding process on the body. And so by slowing down and resting, we show our body deep love and respect for the intense internal processes it's going through. If we do not slow down and prioritize rest, especially during our period, we will eventually burn out and eventually cause dis-ease, and illness within our body. And that's why cyclical living is a revolutionary concept, because we live in a world that actually drives us to burn out and drives us to be diseased. Your period is the most important time to prioritize self-care, self-connection, and deep rest. So ideally, you want to cancel all your work and social plans for days 1 to 2 and pretty much do nothing. I love having long hot baths on days 1 to 2, as I also have found that it really just sets me up for a much more pleasant period, as well as decreasing cramps. You should ideally connect every day with your womb via meditation. The meditation that we did at the beginning of this workshop is called a heart womb meditation, and you can find that for free, available on the Sync and Flow YouTube channel as an audio only. And this meditation is really amazing when it's also done in the bath, so you can kind of like double up on your self-care like that. Another favorite practice of mine is self-massage of your abdomen and womb area to help with cramps and increase self-love, because every time you massage yourself and touch yourself, you increase the feel-good love hormone oxytocin, and so this actually just bonds you deeper to yourself and increases your self-connection on a very intimate level. I also love doing womb or period yoga, and I literally just go into YouTube and I type yoga for menstruation. And this is also a really beautiful way to slow down, but also still get some movement going, as sometimes we can feel quite tight in our hips. There's a lot of inflammation going on in our pelvic region when we bleed. So yeah, it's really good to get the blood flow in your hips and just to loosen yourself up a bit. And it can also decrease cramps. During your period, you want to eat foods that are high in fat and are very calorically dense. So lots of red meat, eggs, avo, like a proper good English breakfast. And you also want to be eating regularly. Don't ever skip meals on your period and the days leading up to your period, because like I said, bleeding is a very intense process for your body, and you actually need to be replacing all of that energy that you're losing during the bleeding process. I encourage you to nap as a professional sport and take as many naps as you want, especially for the first 2 to 3 days. And also allow yourself to cry and be emotionally expressive. This is your time, babe. This is your time to be connected to yourself, to your body, to your emotions, and cultivate that intimate connection with yourself. So don't hold back. Cry all day if you want to, allow it to come through, because like I said, your period is that cathartic release of energy and of emotions, and you can really use it to let go of any emotions that may be clouding your judgments, or maybe just causing you a lot of stress and pain. You want to be using, body safe, body friendly, periods like sanitary items. I don't know, sanitary hygiene products. So I use reusable pads or a menstrual cup. And the reason I love using a menstrual cup is that it's really nice to be able to collect your blood and use it in rituals. When you want to collect it, you can dilute it with tap water, and then you can go give it to your houseplants, and you can also go outside and give it to the earth, give it to a tree, and it's really forming that really beautiful cyclical reciprocative relationship between you and the earth. You can even go to the beach if you live by the ocean and give your blood to the ocean, and what happens is actually the earth absorbs your codes, absorbs your energy through your blood, and the earth will actually send you back, because the divine law of energy is that it's always a give and take, a giving and receiving. And so if you give the earth your blood, your contribution, your gift to the earth, then the earth is going to send you back energy in the form of grounding and stability and connection. So it really creates that really beautiful spiritual relationship between you and the earth. And then also you want to be journaling and reflecting and just going inside and just seeing like, okay, like now is my time to take stock of everything that's happened the previous month. What has gone right versus what has gone wrong, and where can I improve, so really creating this time and space for yourself to be deeply self-reflective. And then there are some also really good herbs that you can take and incorporate into your diet, that can really just help your reproductive health and help prevent cramps and help balance your hormones really nicely. So some of those are chasterberry, black cohosh, red clover, nettle, moringa, shatavari, maca root, wild yam, and ashwagandha. And over here on the right, I've shown red clover. Red clover and nettle. Actually, I've been working with red clover and nettle. I've used shatavari as well and ashwagandha. But red clover especially is a fertility and antioxidant ally. And my friend Annette started this brand, Wild Nettle. And if you are based in South Africa or in Cape Town, you can easily get a hold of these herbs. She sells nettle and red clover on her site. And these are amazing, amazing herbs to work with. And so what you do, what's shown here is the herbs, and you use them in infusions. So infusions is basically a tea that has been left to brew for 4 to 9 hours. So it's very, very saturated and condensed, and you're getting like 100 times the benefits as you would from tea. So I make red clover and nettle infusions all the time, and I drink them all the time, and they have really, really helped with my energy and my balancing my hormones. I highly, highly, highly recommend working with herbs, because this is another way that we can see that the earth just wants to support us, right? Why use some fake hormones or go on birth control to regulate, when actually birth control is not regulating your cycle, it's actually just suppressing your cycle. Like, these are the herbal allies that will help regulate your cycle and regulate your hormones. So highly, highly recommend looking into that. So again, women, I will ask you this question: what is your relationship to your menstruation, to your bleed? Are you connected to the power of your blood? Do you feel your womb's deep rhythmic pulse guiding you? Do you It's coming. I want to check. Are you guys still with me? Okay, cool. Everything's still working. Yeah, cool. So, do you worship your period and live in alignment with your cycle? Or do you writhe in pain every month, overwhelmed by the cramps? Do you feel ashamed of the flow of the blood down your legs? Do you feel disconnected from your womb and her power? Just sit with yourself for a minute and think, who are you? What category do you fall in? What kind of woman are you? What is your relationship to your menstruation, to your womb, to your blood? And try not to judge yourself for where you're at, because awareness is the first step of healing. Really, awareness creates the potential for healing. Oops. And now I'd like to share with you a beautiful, beautiful creation of mine that has come from my deep womb, from my deep heart, and from my experience of healing my womb over the past 3 years. This is my gift to you, sister. Sister, when you heal your relationship to your period, you heal a fundamental connection to your feminine energy that then heals your entire reality. And so I present to you Healing Flow. This is my new fully live course for every woman who wants to heal her relationship to her menstrual cycle and activate into her womb power, taking back her power into her hands. Whether you want to heal your painful cramps, your heavy flow, your missing periods, or learn conscious cycling, or just generally deepen into your connection and understanding of your sacred womb space, then this program is for you. This program is for every single woman. And I have created a special discount code for everyone that is watching and has signed up to this workshop. If you use the code I love my flow at checkout, you can get a 20% discount, which actually adds up to 400 Rand off the course, which I think is amazing. This course starts on the 9th of May. So in about 2 weeks' time and 3 weeks' time. And I deeply encourage you to reach out to me personally via Instagram DM if you have any questions or would like to find out more about this course. This course is for you if you resent and feel ashamed of your menstrual cycle or blood, if you feel disconnected from your body or your womb, if you struggle to rest and prioritize self-care during your luteal and menstrual phase, if you want to learn how to track your cycle and live in harmony with the 4 different seasons and phases, If you experience painful cramps or irregular periods and any other period symptoms, if you've just come off hormonal contraception and are struggling to ovulate and get your period back, I know that can be a huge issue for so many women. Or if you're just feeling disconnected from your feminine energy, your sensuality, and your orgasmic capacity. Because when you heal your connection to your period, you heal your connection to your womb space, and this allows you to deeply receive your orgasm on a much deeper level than ever before. It allows you to go deeper into your connection with your sacred sexual self, whether that's through sexual connections with yourself or with a partner. It greatly, greatly improves all of that. And so what is included in this course? We have 4 90-minute online workshops spaced over 4 weeks. Every single participant will get a 1 times 60-minute one-to-one womb healing session with me, where we go deep into your specific womb healing journey, and I provide you with tools to help you heal your womb on a deeper level and create practices and rituals and routines in your daily life to move forward on your healing journey. You get 4 module PDFs with in-depth information and resources. You get 4 video practice recordings, 4 meditation recordings, and 4 journal prompt worksheets, plus recordings of all sessions. So as you can see, this course is packed full of so much juicy content, as well as gives you direct access to working with me so that we can work on your specific requirements and needs. And then I have another special offer for you. My friend Rona is hosting her fertility awareness method course, which is a natural birth control method that I mentioned at the beginning. I did her course this time last year. And if you tell Rona that you were referred to her course by me, you get 100 Rand off. And this course is so amazing. It, again, gives you the foundational information and knowledge to learn how to track your cycle, to learn when your fertile days are, which are only 6 days, by the way, and learn when are your infertile days so that you can have unprotected sex without any stress. You really can be so much more free. You don't have to have any IUDs in the way. You don't need to be on hormonal birth control. You can track your cycle and you can learn the fertility awareness method to take the power back into your hands. And when I learned this, my mind was blown because, like I said, this is information we should have been taught in school and we weren't. And now, preparing yourself with this information, you can now go and teach your future daughters all of this information so that they never have to go through the trauma of being on hormonal birth control, okay? And they never have to go through the trauma that I went through with my cyst and the pill and painful sex with an IUD. Because when you realize that you can only get pregnant a maximum of 5 days, 5 to 6 days every single month, it makes something like an IUD and the pill completely irrelevant, because why would you take something every single day or have something stuck inside of you every single day if you can't get pregnant every single day, okay? Yeah, this is really life-changing information. So reach out to Rona if that is something you're interested in. And then I would like to end with another poem. This one is by Sarah Beth Burns, called The Largest River in the World. The largest river in the world is the one that flows through the warriors. I'm not talking about the warriors of light and love and battle of flesh. I'm talking about the warriors of creation and pleasure. I'm talking about the warriors of our ancestors' bellies. I am talking about you, woman. You, woman, are the gateway of creation and a portal of pleasure. I'm talking about the warriors who feel every cell in the body calling for relief. I'm talking about every emotion tugging on you as you try to keep your head on straight. I'm talking about the woman with the blood-stained skirts and an intuition that will make you question magic and God. I am talking about you, woman. You, woman, are the gateway of creation and the portal of pleasure. The largest river in the world has been passed down since the beginning of flesh, has been felt by your ancestors, has been felt by your enemies, has been felt by you. The largest river in the world is the one that flows through you, woman. Bleed on as a gateway of creation and as a portal of pleasure. I am talking about you, woman. Such beautiful words. Such powerful, powerful words. And so I want to thank you for being here, sister, whether you're here live with us or watching the recording. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so deeply grateful for you for being here and taking a step to heal your relationship with your period, heal your relationship with your womb, and take a step against patriarchy and all the suppression that has happened. We are the daughters of the witches they could not burn. We are reclaiming our rights. We are reclaiming our pleasure. We are reclaiming our blood. We are reclaiming our body, our sovereignty. And we are reclaiming our inner wise woman, because every woman has a healer living within her. You have the power to heal yourself. You just need to find the women like me who are willing to teach you about yourself in this way and to activate you and initiate you into your own power, into your own womb wisdom, and into your deep knowing and your deep intuition. From my heart to yours, from my womb to yours, thank you for being here and taking a stand in healing the divine feminine. We all know that this world desperately needs more women to be embodied in their power, embodied in their womb space, and deeply connected and proud of their womanness, of their womanhood. If you would like to connect with me, here are all my links. Please follow me on Instagram. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I also have so much free content on my YouTube channel. That's where you can also find the heart womb meditation, which I encourage you to do every single day of your period, as well as or at all other stages of your cycle, to deepen your connection with your womb. I'm also on TikTok. I'm also on LinkedIn. And I also have a podcast that just hit 200 downloads, which I'm so proud of. The podcast, I have a lot of episodes on cyclical living, on womb wisdom, on understanding the cause of period cramps. And yeah, we're just getting started. So I'm really excited to create more podcast episodes and more content for all of you guys. So yeah, thank you for being here, sister. Thank you.